Hi, hello, welcome to my channel! I feel like when I say that, I should be waving a wand and be introducing you to a Disney Channel show, but maybe that's just me. My loneliness is killing me. I saw my mistaken and my heart was breaking. Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Araya Rasmussen and I am working on the second draft of my hunting memoir. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, it's kind of a sensitive topic to some, but it's something that I've put myself on the path of doing. So basically I started writing this back in 2022 and was it December last year, I started this channel and just started sharing that journey as I've been working on the second draft of it. But before I get into all the book details of everything, I wanted to take the time to not only introduce my book, but me and what this channel is about. So I figured I would do an AuthorTube newbie introduction and then kind of go from there and just keep doing my normal vlogs. So who am I? Well, now that you asked, my name is Araya Rasmussen. I'm 25 years old. I'm recently engaged. I am an avid outdoorsman. Obviously, I wrote a hunting memoir, so I like to go hunting, I like to camp, fish, hike, paddleboard, and I love to read. I read a lot of paranormal romanticises, but I read other genres as well. I have a husky named Mina, and she usually shows up in my vlogs. You'll probably see her if you stay and hang out with me. By day, I am an enrollment specialist at a local hospital, and then by night, I call myself an aspiring writer. So, what is this book all about? The Adventures of an Outfitter's Daughter. It is a collection of short stories about the adventures my dad and I have been on over the years since he bought his outfitting business back in 2008. And, you know, there's a lot of different overarching themes, but you'll see me struggle with gun shyness, sleeping on the job, and a few other things throughout the book as I try to navigate a male-dominated world and just try to impress my dad and be the best hunting buddy I can, even though he's very gruff and can be hard to impress. So yeah, that's a little bit about this book, and I know not a lot of people actually share the title of their works, especially if you're trying to go traditionally publish, but it's a hunting memoir. I literally was brainstorming ideas for the title and I found this one and I have just stuck with it, and I don't think I could part with it. If a traditional publisher was like, no, you need to do this instead, I would maybe say no to my dream publisher and self-publish this if I had to because of the title, but that could be potentially a problem for me, so I might have to work on that. This is just a working cover, it's not the actual cover obviously, but yeah, this is my first draft I annotated. There's lots of notes in here, highlights, red pen. I finished the first draft in June of 2024 and then I started annotating this after that. I really cracked down and started writing the second draft in October, November, somewhere in there. Currently wrapping up the last couple chapters of draft 2. Up above here I have a cork board that I use to track what chapters I have to do still, what are completed, and any goals I have. And then I have a whiteboard in the corner too. You can't see. I have a checklist for the chapters, and then when the date that I finish it, so I can actually track how long it takes me to do some of my chapters. And then I have a word count for each chapter left on there as well. Yeah, that's kind of a little bit about my writing space at the moment. But let's just get right into some AuthorTube questions that are out there that a lot of people like to answer. I listed them out on a Google Doc, and I will kind of just read through them and give you my answers for them. So, what is question 1? Okay, so question 1 is, how did you find out about AuthorTube? So, for me, and I feel like for probably a lot of writers, it started out with me Googling stuff. Like, I would Google how to write a book, how to make a really good story, how to make good characters, writing tips, how to write a good sentence. And, you know, there's some stuff that Google would give you, you know, on web pages, but most of the time I'd end up watching videos on YouTube. And so I started watching, you know, those informational videos from authortubers like Abby Emmons, Shaylin Wrights. Another one was Bethany I will not say her last name. I'll just share her handle here because I don't want to mispronounce it. But yeah, those were a couple of the first few AuthorTubers I had watched, and it was in the presence of a mind that I needed help with my craft, and so I was watching those sorts of videos. But as time has progressed, especially last fall, I really started digging into YouTube. I actually made my own account and started avidly watching YouTube and started consuming AuthorTube on a regular basis. And so I would watch AuthorTubers like Brielle Writes, Andy Sears, Alyssa Writes Books, Cody the Writer. There's plenty of writers on AuthorTube that I've started to watch, and I think lately I've just kind of found myself watching those that are in the same boat as me, revision. That's why I've gravitated to those sort of writers, especially like Brielle Writes and Andy Sears, and Alyssa Writes Books. She moves so fast, she's way past me at this point. But Andy and Brielle are on the second draft of their books, and so it's been really easy for me to watch and connect with them in that way, and so those are some of the big ones that I've focused on lately. Okay, next question. Question 2. What genres do you write in? Okay, well, I obviously write in nonfiction, and I kind of try to solely write in nonfiction at the moment. I do let myself go on tangents and write, you know, story ideas about something that's come across my mind. So there's a couple like paranormal romance ideas I've come up with. There was an end of the world book idea I came up with and stuff like that. But I try to let myself only work specifically on this project most of the time. I will let myself, you know, have fun little writing times, but the specific genre I write in right at this moment is nonfiction. I would specifically call it like creative nonfiction of hunting stories. I say creative because I don't remember every single detail of these hunts, so I have to be a little creative with the details. No, that's kind of what creative nonfiction is. That's kind of the genre I write in. I have no problem going into other genres in the future, but I think I want to stick with this one for the moment. So yeah, like I said, I also do read other stuff. I love to read paranormal romance specifically. I like to read a book that has like a big journey or mystery or something on it as a big plot, and then, you know, romance subplot. But I like those shifter romances because I like the idea of a soulmate, and I think that's what's pulled my attention the most the last couple years. So I don't just read hunting books, but I do read hunting books for my comp titles and stuff. But that's kind of what genre I read and what I write in, which kind of leads in some of these other questions. So let's go on to the next question. What is your preferred writing style, point of view, and category of story? So I kind of went into category of story already. First person present is the easiest for me. That's my like default writing, but my book is first person past tense, and so I've been working on making sure that it is all first person past tense. There's a couple of places I had to fix it in this draft. It's just really hard for me because I do tend to like to use ing words, so I've been having to really work on that with my writing. I will kind of read anything, but I still do prefer first person, and the tenses isn't such a big deal to me, but I think since I've been writing this book, I have gravitated more towards first person past tense with my reading as well. That is that. So what's the next question? Question number 4. Are you a plotter, a pantser, or a plancer? I would honestly call myself a plancer because I do plan out my writing, but I don't do it as much as I probably should. So when I initially started this book, I wrote out all the details that I remembered from each hunt. And so I went through and did all that for each chapter, and then from there I started the first draft. So I feel like I could have spent more time making sure I had all the story structure elements for each chapter. I've done it a little bit along the way, but I did not plan enough for that. So it's kind of kicked me in the butt with this draft, so I've been focusing on that a lot in draft 2, you know, fixing the story structure of each chapter, making sure there's good character development, make sure that there's an overarching theme of the book and within each story, making sure there's internal and external conflict that is relevant, and a resolution. So I've been trying to make sure to focus on that with this chapter. So I definitely wouldn't call myself a plotter, so I'm definitely in the middle. So yeah. Okay, question number 5. Are you published, self-published, or yet to be published? And obviously I'm yet to be published. I don't have anything published in anything. I have thought about writing a short story to submit to a magazine or something, but it's kind of hard to let myself focus on that sort of thing because then I don't work on my book for weeks. So I have not published in anything. I do kind of hope that I will in the future, but at this moment this book is my priority, so I want to publish it. I do want to try and traditionally publish it, but if I have any issues with that, I will self-publish. I don't want to have to market my own book. I mean, you still kind of do, you know, traditionally publishing, but there's a lot of things that I'm not good at, and a publisher would be a lot better at that. Which kind of brings us into the next question. Question number 6. What publishing company, literary agent, and or printing company do you use or want to use? So publishing wise, I have looked at a couple. I have looked at Skyhorse Publishing, Simon and Schuster. I don't know if I said that right. And then Lions Press. I think Lions Press is my probably dream publisher. It's one of the bigger ones that publish hunting books. You know, my topic kind of narrows down my pool for publishers, so I've just kind of been focusing on the ones that have already published hunting books. So I think Lions Press is my dream publisher. And then agent-wise, I don't really have a dream agent. I think I just want to pick somebody that I feel will represent my book well. And so as I've been reading some of my comp titles I have just been making sure to note down their agents for their books and a running list in Google Doc, and so I've been keeping track of that, and so I'll just kind of pick one that I feel like will help represent my book the best. And then I don't really have a printing company in mind, so I don't really have an answer for that one. But yeah, that's kind of the breakdown for that question. So next question. Question number 7. What AuthorTube related videos can we expect to find on your channel? Okay, so I tend to do a lot of weekly and daily writing vlogs where I showcase my working around my normal 9 to 5 schedule, just how I fit in my writing and what's going on with my project. And then I also like to do the challenge videos. I did a 12-hour writing challenge a couple weekends ago, and then I actually challenged myself to finish my first draft in 60 days. I documented that on TikTok, but I feel like those sort of things are fun and they help keep me accountable. I also do like a little segment where I do write with me as I get drunk. It sounds counterintuitive, but for me it helps me do something fun while I'm working on my book. And my writing is usually good until the point where I actually get drunk, and then the last couple sentences are trash. But it's something fun I like to do and share, so I do have a video or two about that. And then I probably really want to do very many sit-down videos. It's been hard as it is for me to just sit here and do this today, but I wanted to introduce myself, my channel, my book, so I'm taking the time to do so. But maybe I'll do some in the future, maybe I won't. It depends on how comfortable I feel with it. But yeah, that's just sort of the things that I plan to do and have been doing so far with my channel and my videos. But yeah, next question. Okay, question number 8. When did you start writing? I actually started writing hunting related books when I was 7, maybe 8. It was about a cougar hunt I had been on with my dad and his cousin, and it was like a pretty crazy hunt, and like I wanted to capture that story on paper, so I did. That was the first one. I actually have a picture of it, so I will put it here. And so that's when I started writing. And then after that, probably a year or so after that, I wrote a book about a girl named Scout who could talk to animals. I don't think I finished that story, but that was another one I wrote. And then at 12 years old, I killed my first bear, and it was a pretty crazy and fun story. So I wrote it down in a 3-ring binder so I wouldn't forget it and so that I could share with others. And so I did it, you know, horrible grammar and spelling and 12-year-old humor included. And then I shared it with my parents, who then in turn shared it with family members and hunters that my dad had. And a lot of people got some good laughs out of it. And so yeah, that was about 12 years old. And then I don't think I really started writing like that again until college. I took a creative nonfiction class, I think either my sophomore or junior year, and the teacher had us write a couple, you know, short stories about something pivotal in your life. And at one point I rewrote that story about my first bear. So I rewrote it in class, and then I think it was my best one yet. And so when we had to choose which one we wanted to read in front of a restaurant in the class and our teacher, I decided that I would do that one. So I rewrote it, you know, fix some things that the professor wanted me to do, and then I had to sit in front of a crowd and read it out loud. I hate public speaking, so that was hard as it was, but also sharing that sort of story, I was a little nervous, but it went really well. I got a lot of positive feedback. My professor really loved the way that I had wrapped up the story, and everybody enjoyed it. And then I turned around and read it out loud to my parents, and then they really loved it, and they were really pushing me to pursue writing, especially writing this sort of thing. I really wish I'd listened to them, but I already had such a hard time figuring out what my degree was, which is history and a minor in behavioral science. I did not know what I wanted to do the first 2 years of college. I could have been probably done in 3 years if I had figured myself out, because I took so many college credit classes in high school, but I had no idea what I wanted, so I took a bunch of different courses and ended up on history. So yeah, anyways, I do wish I had gotten a degree in creative writing or journalism, or just something that would have helped with my writing and maybe eventually publishing. But yeah, I think that really pushed me the most. And then in 2022, the idea of, you know, writing all these hunting stories down into books started to nag at me. And so I actually started writing down the ideas of it on a car ride to California with the family. And so that's about when I started it. So it's 2022. But yeah, that's kind of the journey into writing for me. And the next question is kind of similar to that. Question number 9 is, what was the first story you ever wrote? And I kind of talked about that. It was that cougar hunt. It really was kind of a crazy hunt. We had gone out and caught a cat, a mountain lion, and it like was causing a lot of fighting with the hounds, and it was so crazy. I just wanted to, remember that story, so I had written it down and, on paper and made my own little, cover and all with horrible coloring. But yeah, that was the first story, my first hunting story too. So, 2 in 1. Let's go on to question 10. What authors have inspired your writing the most? So for me, I really don't have specific authors. I've been an avid reader basically almost all my life. I read a lot in elementary school. Like, I was one of those nerdy kids that was, doing good for the AR rating or whatever it was that we had to do in elementary school. So I read a lot of books like Gina B. Jones, The Babysitter's Club, Nancy Drew, Charlie Bone and something. It took me a while to get into the Harry Potter series, so I was older for that. I think I read the first Twilight book in 4th grade. I don't know why. I just love reading, and I feel like books at different times in my life have helped me in different ways. And so I feel like, with writing my own book, maybe my book could be that for somebody else. But besides that, I feel like when I started reading book comps, I came across this one, Outfitters by Carmen White. And it's actually based in Idaho. And it's about a girl, Carmen White, whose family owned an outfitting business in Idaho. And so it's very similar to my story. It's very short and to the point. I think she just published it herself. And just holding this in my hand, I'm like, this could be me in the future. So I feel like this was very inspiring for me to hold this, especially since it's such a similar story. And so yeah, I think this was very inspiring. But I really don't have just a specific author that is so inspiring that made me feel like I should write. No, it's just, I feel like books in general have helped inspire me to want to potentially share another story with other people that could help them in a different point in their life. There's that question. On to the next. So, question 11. Do you schedule your writing sessions or write whenever you can? It's kind of a mixture of both. I don't really think I actually schedule though. I have just made writing a priority. I just make time in the morning before work, after work, on the weekends. I'm just making sure I'm writing a couple times a week. Every week and every day is different, so it can be different from time to time. Finishing my first draft in 60 days challenge, I really started working on my book in the morning, and I think just making it more weekly routine, not necessarily daily routine, to work on it helped me finish the book. I wouldn't really call that scheduling. I just got to the point where I don't need motivation to write anymore. I just need the devoted time to do so. So yeah, that's kind of just how it's been for me lately. I think my favorite time to write is probably on the weekend when I have devoted time to do so. I don't have distractions. Like, I don't have to go to work, or I don't have to cook dinner or this or that. I think just having a bigger chunk of time to write is my favorite time to do so. Okay, question 12. Do you use a computer, a typewriter, write by hand, or a blend? Obviously, I use this computer. I have my MacBook, and then I have a monitor here, and yeah, that's kind of what I use. I don't write anything down or anything. For the draft is all online. I do have a notebook where I keep notes for the chapters in here, but I don't actually write the draft anywhere. I just have some notes in here, and then I have my corkboards up here. I keep track of stuff as well. That is question 12. So let's go on question 13. Question 13. What are you most looking forward to now that you're a part of AuthorTube? I think if you ask anybody, it's probably going to be community. That is a big thing for me too. Not just also finding my own community, but like creating a community for a future writer that might feel like they're having a hard time fitting in somewhere else. You're always welcome on my channel. And so I feel like I want to create space for myself and for others to find comfort and inspiration with their writing, or just to watch and enjoy somebody working on their project. But I also have kind of created this channel and make content to keep me more accountable with my writing, and so it makes me show up, and it makes me show up often. And so I feel like that has been a big thing for me. Like, after doing that 60-day writing challenge, I've been documenting my journey more and more, and I feel like it helps me be accountable, and it makes me have fun in a different way too. And I'm not just sitting at my computer like, I don't want to write. No, I'm gonna have fun, I'm gonna enjoy myself, I'm gonna do this challenge, maybe I'm gonna drink and write, maybe I'm gonna jam out to my music as loud as possible and write. You know, I've just been finding different ways to help keep myself motivated as I work on this. So that's just a couple things, and I feel like just in general, I am happy to have any sort of writer or non-writer on my channel, but I also just want to, you know, have that a place where maybe a fellow nonfiction writer, or maybe somebody who wants to write a hunting story, or maybe a fishing or something story, and my contact might help you do that. I would love that. So that's also a big thing for me, because like maybe there'll be a future Aurea out there who's trying to search how to write a good hunting story, or you know, how to write a nonfiction book, or just see how somebody else might work on that project. You know, everybody's different, and so I think sometimes just having something out there where somebody could relate to is very helpful. And so yeah, that's kind of just a breakdown of my hope with this channel and what I'm looking forward to. I thank you for watching. I appreciate if you stuck to the end. I know these things get a little long, so I appreciate if you did in fact stick to the end. I just hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful week, and if you have any questions regarding my book, my writing, or maybe something about me, you're welcome to ask down below in the comments. Feel free to like, subscribe, or ask any questions, or have a comment below. If you have any fellow author tubers you want to recommend, I am happy to watch, so you can also list that down below. I think that's about everything I wanted to share. So that is my channel, my book, my writing, and me. So yeah, thanks for following along. I hope you have a wonderful day. I will see you next time. Bye!